Hello everyone, welcome back. So this is Angular Schematics part 2 session, and in this particular session let's discuss about the Angular ng generate schematic. And with ng generate we can create a component, directive, service, pipe and all. Out of this there are few important things that we use and create on a daily basis. To start with, component, directive, service, pipe, interface and guard. So these six items that we use on a daily basis, and remaining things: module, class, enum, interceptor, library, app shell, application. Remaining these items we don't use very often, but better to have some knowledge on these, because there will be in the interviews most of the time they focus on the things that are not used on a daily basis, to see whether you have knowledge or not. So for that reason we'll try to get some reasonable details about those. Okay. And to start with, let's see how we can generate a component with Angular schematics. So right now I have a blank Angular application. There is nothing other than the title. Now let's see how we can create the component using ng generate. So for that, ng generate, or you can use directly ngg component. I'll say child component. So now the child component is created. Okay, let's see its usage. App child. So now I'm using this app child in the parent. So if you see, the child component is rendered, and let's look at the content in the child component. There is nothing other than child works. Okay, this is how you can create the child component or components using ng generate. Okay, this is one way. So now let's create the directive using ng generate. Okay, ng generate directive. I will say maybe color directive. Okay, now if you see, color directive is created. Okay, within this let's see how we can use this color directive. Okay, so for this particular constructor, okay, let's see, color, app color, the name. I'll add a span tag. Okay, I have just a plain string right now. Okay, it is in the gray color. Okay, so right now if you see, this is in the gray color. Let's change this color using directive to a different color. Okay, for that I need to use this app color. Okay, right now it won't impact anything. Okay, why? Because I have not added any logic within this color directive. Okay, now what we are going to do is, we'll get hold of the element using element reference. So this will get hold of the element. What element? It will get hold of this whole span tag and the content. Okay, because we used this here. Okay, now in this, using this element, okay, this dot element dot native element dot style dot background color. Instead of background color, let's change the color. Let's say yellow. Let's see. If you see, now it is changed to yellow. Okay, for now let's comment out this child component, or remove this child component. Okay, now if you see, the color changed to yellow. It is not visible, so let's change this color to red. So if you see, the text color changed to red because of the app color directive. When we use this app color, it will look for the same app color directive. Okay, and within this directive, when the directive is getting created, we'll get hold of the element which is span element. Okay, and we are getting hold of the element, going to its native element and setting the style. Okay, even we can set the background color also, or we can update anything. Okay, background color. Okay, style dot background color. Let's set the background color as gray. Okay, if you see, the background color changed to gray. Okay, this is how the directive works, and this is how you can create the directive using Angular schematics. Now let's look at the service, how we can create the service using schematics. Okay, now ng generate service, let's say products. Okay, now if you see, we have a product service created. Okay, this is how we can create a service, and let's see the usage of it. Okay, to use a service, to make the API call from service, or let's just write a method. Okay, okay, this will return two values, and we can to use this particular product service in the component, we have to inject it within the constructor private product service and the type of the service. Okay, once we injected, it will be available to use it. Okay, I'll add okay, within this get products list. Okay, and products of plain array, because these products are in the plain array format. Okay, so now I got this products. I'll assign this to this list of products. Okay, okay, I'll assign it to products. Now let's display these products. Okay, I'll get rid of this piece, we don't need this right now. Now this is Angular 17 way of writing the for loop. Okay, product track on product. Okay, this is empty, still loading the products. This, so okay, now we'll display these products. Okay, let's check the screen. If you see, iPhone and Android both are rendered. Okay, this is how we can use the service in Angular. Okay. To create the pipe, ng generate pipe. We'll say, actually we no need to directly create the pipe. We already have existing pipes that we can use. But to create a pipe, ng generate pipe. We can give the pipe name. Okay. Like format string. Okay. Now it will create the pipe. Okay. If you see the pipe, so this is a pipe and the value will come here. Okay. And you can just say within this value, we'll say we'll append okay, format string. So right now we have this product. Let's try to use this pipe here. Okay. If you see, let me just push this. Okay. So now if you see, iPhone and Android came from the service, but appended from pipe. This string appended from pipe. This string came because of the pipe. Okay. If we this name pipe name coming from this one, so this is the name that we are using. Okay. What exactly it is doing is, when we say the value, this is a pipe. Okay. And this pipe, before while it is rendering the product, since there is a pipe, it will go to the pipe. Okay. And in this transform function, we get the value. This value is going to be iPhone for the first record, Android for the second record. Okay. First time we get iPhone, this iPhone, and we are appending iPhone plus this particular string. Okay. Because of that reason, we are able to append this string. Okay. We can even perform other things also to not only this one. Let's see. So if you see, this iPhone and Android converted to uppercase because we are getting hold of the value and calling the uppercase method. So since we are using here the pipe, it is formatted to uppercase because of the function that we added here and the logic. Okay. This is how pipe works. And now let's look at interface. Okay. The next one is we need to create the interface. ng generate interface. Let's say product. Okay. Now we got this interface. Okay. Within this interface, what we can say is id string, name string. Okay. Since we already created a product service here, let's see, let's convert this to use the interface. Okay. Okay, it should return only single product right now. So let's return only the single product from here. Or you can directly create the product here. Of course, we will have ID and name. If you see ID and name, because we are using this interface, ID and name. Okay. Now id of a string 1 and a name iPhone. Okay, now you can return the product. Okay, when do we need to use interfaces? When you want to directly map your object that is coming from backend to the object on the UI, you can directly create an interface and use it. Okay, now not only the purpose of this interface. Okay, now when we get this product, and let's see from where exactly we are calling. In this here, since we get only one record right now, we converted this to just return one product. Okay, now product this product. Okay, now we get this single product in the HTML. This is not going to be the for loop. Okay, can get rid of the for loop because it is single product. Okay, now we can display the product. Now if you see, we got the product details. Now if you see, we got the product details, single product details displayed. Okay, so to strictly follow the structure of the object that is coming from the backend in this service, okay, we can use the interface. This is how we can use the interface. Okay, now let's look at the next one. Okay, the next one is guard. Okay, authentication guard. Okay, we can create a authentication guard. Ng generate guard, authentication guard. Okay, now we got the authentication guard. Okay, basically this authentication guard right now I cannot add it because I don't have any authentication setup for this. But this authentication guard, we are going to set this authentication guard in the routing class. Within here, see the path when we add the routes. Okay, like second page component, and let's say the child component. Other than this, if you see can active here, now here we can say we can use this authentication guard here. Okay, so that every time when we route to this particular page, it will call this authentication guard and perform the authentication within this. Okay, we need to write the logic to authenticate the user in this particular place. Okay, right now since I don't have any authentication setup for this project, so for now we will just ignore it. Okay, but this is one-time setup. Okay, authentication is one-time setup. So the now next one is these leftover schematics are just we don't use on a daily basis, but let's try to get to it. Okay, ng generate module. Okay, for suppose if you have a bank account, bank project, within the bank there will be checkings accounts, savings accounts, loans, and all these things are there, right? So to segregate and put all of them in a proper structure, we use a module and we create like a checkings module, so that it will create the checkings module. Okay, and all the checkings module related items will go within this checkings module, and checkings account module should be imported into the main module class, which is app module. Okay, here, so that the checkings module components can be used in the application, complete application. Okay, and if you want to create a savings account module, okay, you can create the savings account module. At the same time, you can import this savings module here, so that the main module is app module.ts. Okay, so any sub module that you create, it is a child module, and the purpose of this module is to separate them, to separate the each and every. The purpose of this module is to segregate all the components related to a specific thing into a group. Okay, within this we can add all the checkings related modules within this. Okay, since it is imported within the app component, we can directly use it. Okay, that is the purpose of module. Okay, ng generate module. Okay, now let's look at a class. Okay, we can create a class as well. Okay, since there is a interface with this product.ts, it is failing. Okay, let's create products. Okay, this is a class. If you see, this is one, it is like a regular Java class, and you can still implement product. Okay, if you see, the product is the interface. Okay, let me just, okay, now if you see, the product is the interface. This is Java concept. Okay, the product is the interface, and it has two fields. Okay, and within the product, I implemented the product, so by default I'll get these two fields. Okay, if you see, incorrectly implemented the products, it requires ID and the name. Okay, when I say implement it, I got all these product related two fields. Okay, and at the same time I can still add more details about the product here, so that no need to repeat these repeated fields again in this. When I directly use the products, automatically I'll get the address, ID and string, all these three things together. Okay, that is the purpose of a class. Okay, next one is enum. Let's generate enum. Like months. Okay, we got the enum months. Let's say okay, this is how you can create an enum, and to use it, let's go and say month equal to January. Import the enum, and we can directly use this in the HTML. Okay, so if you see the month January we got, this is how you can create an enum and use it in Angular. Okay, so the next one that we are going to look at is interceptor. Okay, ng generate interceptor, maybe token validator interceptor. Okay, so what is interceptor? Interceptor, basically, if you use this interceptor, okay, it will intercept every page navigation, or if you are using HTTP interceptor, okay, if you are using HTTP interceptor, okay, what it will do is, every time when we make a API call, which is outside the call from Angular, when we make an API call outside using the Angular service, okay, for every request, every time you make the call, it will intercept that particular request. Okay, and it will set the authorization token. Okay, for suppose when you log in, you have an authorization token, right? You can get hold of the token, and for every subsequent API calls, you can set the token here. Okay, you can set the token here. Since I don't have any authentication associated with this application, I'm not setting it, but this is how you can use the interceptor and set the logic here. Okay, that is the purpose of interceptor. So the next one is library. We don't use this very often. Okay, so this library, okay, what it does is, if you see it, this library, when I created a library, it just created a project with the folder projects, okay, and created a library, okay, the component, the service component, as well as the public API. Okay, so the library, purpose of library is to generate a library out of a specific project. Okay, for suppose in the package.json, this is the library, this is the library, the libraries that we are using. Okay, how we are using, because somebody generated the library and pushed it to node npm package manager website. From that's where it is hosted and we are pulling it. Okay, to create a library, okay, this is how we use this library, and within this library we create the components and the services. Okay, and we'll export this particular library. Okay, and download this library as a using this particular like this. Okay, for suppose if we generate a library out of this within our main package.json, here we import like this. Okay, and we'll use the version. Okay, so this is how we use. So to generate this type of library, we use library schematic. Okay. Okay, next one is app shell. Okay, so app shell, it is a way to render a portion of your application using a route at build time. Okay, meaning this app shell, for suppose if you have a product, which mortgage product, okay, mortgage application, that is a product, you wanted to sell the same mortgage product to two different companies. Okay, so two different companies, first company name is A and second company name is B, but they just wanted to use your mortgage application. Okay, when you hand over that application to A, their title, the mortgage company name on the top should show A, and when you sell the same product to B, and when they log into their application, it should show B instead of A. Okay, that means you are customizing some of the things based on the customer, and underlying complete mortgage application is same across both the companies. Okay, for that type of scenario, we use app shell. Okay, to generate that type of dynamic content. Okay, generate, create the app shell.